Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to being here. I'm Ariel.
I'm Shya.
And it's funny, our when we record this, we're recording it via a Zoom, and a voice comes on and says, recording in progress. It's a brand new moment. Cheers. You can either say cheers or you can say, oh no.
Well, if you look, you'll see that most people, most of the time, talk about the past, about what happened, about what they didn't or did do.
And everybody else worries about the future, what's coming, what you want. Will you get it?
No. But, we do have the current moment. And the current moment is rather pure. And it's perfect exactly as it is. And so you are striving to get what you want is the source of dissatisfaction. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't go for what you want, but thinking that when you get what you want, it's going to somehow make you feel better, that's rarely, if ever, the case.
I love listening to you.
Really?
I do. I just slowed it down. You said this moment is perfect.
It is.
And striving for what you want, it doesn't make you satisfied.
Well, I was on the river the other day fishing, and I brought two rods with me. One was a long rod that I used to, they call it swing flies. It's it's a spey rod, and you can cast a long way with it, and the fly drifts across the current, and it's a very relaxing way for me to fish. The other rod was a dry fly rod, which you use when fish are rising and eating on the surface. And even though it's winter, there are fish rising on the surface. And so I'm swinging a fly and a fish rises. And then I have the desire to put down the swinging rod and go and get that dry fly rod and see if I can catch that fish. And so I'm in a constant state of which is going to be better.
This isn't it. Maybe that will be it.
Right.
This isn't it. Maybe that will be it.
Exactly. And then I realized that if I take away the apparency of choice and just do what I'm doing, I'll have a much more satisfying experience. So I did. I did not. I left the dry fly rod alone, and I just swung the fly.
As we're talking about this, and you mentioned that going for what you want, or dreaming of what you want, or
what you think is going to be more satisfying,
or driving toward that does not make you more satisfied.
Right.
I realize that Shya is not talking about not having desires,
not making plans,
what you might consider goals, but it's really about resting in a sense of contentment
in this moment of your life,
looking, seeing what's appropriate, and stepping into that.
Yeah, that's a tricky thing, because you see, you want certain outcomes.
You want what you want.
That's right. And sometimes life shows up and it's not what you want, but it's the way it shows up. Now, how you deal with that is up to you.
Now, we have two guests on today. We have a producer. We are pre-recording this, as we do all the time now with podcasts. They are not live released at the same time. We are speaking. And on this particular day is the day we recognize, we looked, we saw, we recognized that since the COVID
pandemic
has had 65% increase in the last day, and they expect it to really be what they're calling a tsunami in mid-January, which by the time you hear this will have passed, that it is inappropriate for us to go with our group to Costa Rica. So we spoke to those 3 people because,
Who were scheduled to come with us to Costa Rica.
and it's like 1 minute our plans are going one way, the next, it's a brand new moment. You resist what is, and your life turns conflicted. When you look and see and step into or leap into life as it is, it's this incredible ride as opposed to, I don't know what it's opposed to, but it's an incredible ride.
Well, as opposed to your complaints about how things aren't going the way you want. Look, the second principle of instantaneous transformation, even though we haven't talked about listening, the second principle says that no 2 things can occupy the same space, the same you at the same time. So if you're lost in a complaint, that's a moment you're not enjoying your life. Unless, of course, you're a masochist and you enjoy complaining.
Last week, Shya and I were in Costa Rica. We were doing all the preparatory work for our, at that moment, upcoming course. It is beautiful there. And I was looking forward to going that. Not in, even when I'm on the plane, it's not like I'm looking forward to going back when I was on the plane home, because it was better than the seat I was sitting in, but I was anticipating it because I like it there. Now I'm looking forward to being in my home this winter. It's all fodder for contentment when you're being here.
Or it's fodder for complaint when you think it would be better some other way.
Or if you think the circumstances of your life are what make you satisfied or dissatisfied.
Yeah, what determines the satisfaction level of your life.
Shall we take our first guest?
Let's take
I'm looking
our first
forward to seeing her. You guys get to hear her. We get to see her. Hey, Holly, where are you zooming in from?
Hello, I am zooming from Brooklyn. Nice to be here.
Now you get extra days to do all your foodie things.
Yes, that's true. Cheers. Let me just start with cheers. I am happy for these new moments. And thank you for letting us know about the change of plans. That's it gives me peace of mind, actually. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm sure it does, because as much as I know you wanted to be there, I also know that given the world's health situation with COVID and all the difficulties with airlines and everything else that's happening as a result of that, it was a stress.
But, we looked at risk benefit. The risk and the benefit outweighed the risk, seemed minimal until it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to be willing to say, okay, what's my life worth?
Yeah.
What's the life of my friends worth? What is it worth to make money to have people come to a place where they may get in trouble?
So we're all tested. We're all great. What happens if one staff member gets it? We've been in close proximity and we all have to quarantine there for an extra 14 days. What happens to our lives? It just,
And here's the thing, I'm not worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's not about worrying about that could happen. It's more looking and seeing what is the appropriate thing to do given this set of circumstances. And it's so clear. I mean, it's like,
and you know what?
And did I want to cancel? Absolutely not. Until I saw that it was inevitable, and then I wanted to cancel.
I have to say, early shout outs to our money manager accountant, Josh. If you guys need a good one and you're in the New York area, I highly recommend him. You can contact us. We'll give you his full name, because he worked with us to set aside all of the money this year for Costa Rica.
So it's not been spent on anything. It's just in an escrow account in case something like this were to happen.
And you know what? I sincerely would love it if the world situation turned around in 2 weeks and we were overly cautious and we all could have gone well anyway.
Mhm.
I am not wishing to be right about this. I am just doing what is
Well-
appropriate in this moment.
Well, if you look, you definitely see the handwriting on the wall.
Mhm.
You know, really clear that this new Omicron strain is infecting people very, very rapidly. And it's just an environment that you don't want to put people in a travel situation.
Now, before we gave you the new news, did you
Yeah.
come with a question today?
Well, I actually came with a kind of a health question because I have been dealing with some health things that I several years ago was diagnosed with a benign brain tumor, and I go regularly for MRIs, and my doctors monitor me. And so yesterday I went for my MRI, and I'm going for another one next week because he's very conservative. He wants to do an extensive MRI, an additional one. So I guess my question was more, it's like continuing to raise a glass of cheers. This is my life. And sometimes yesterday was a little hard being at the hospital with everybody and feeling, I don't know, just a surge of like, why is this happening to me? And I haven't necessarily felt that before.
Well, maybe you're psychic.
Have you heard the word zeitgeist?
I have heard it. Yeah.
It's the prevailing
Atmosphere.
cultural atmosphere of the times.
Mm.
And if we take the times not as in the 20s or the 30s or the 2021, 22s, but the zeitgeist of the moment at the hospital is a surge of no,
Mhm.
along with the surge of COVID and everything else. So I'm not surprised that that was a more dense.
See, the other thing is, Holly, you're psychic, as we all are. You sense people's upsets and worries. And right now, hospitals are severely understaffed because of the COVID expansion, that people are upset, you pick that up. Now, you may gloss it over because you don't really want to have to feel they're upset. But it
Can I
comes
say
through.
one thing to you two?
Mhm.
There is nothing wrong with having a surge of no. You have not failed. You're not a bad transformer person. It's like last night, I already knew that we were going to ultimately come to decision today. And I was scrolling through my iPhone and I saw one, COVID stories that talked about dire disaster and other ones that looked more promising. And I kept wanting to click on the promising ones. It's not so bad. I didn't. I was a no to what I already knew.
Yeah, I mean, like we really wanted to go to Costa Rica this year. We really wanted
I want to
to.
hug people in person.
That's
I
right.
have these wants.
Yeah, it isn't going to happen.
Not this way.
Not this way.
Not right now. And in fact, in previous shows or podcasts, we were talking about Leap into Life in April and May being local at Camp Tecumseh, and we're calling them today, and we're going to cancel that. We have a scheduled date for October. I just think it's too, people have to be making travel plans now. It's just too much
To
risk
ask.
at the moment, too much to ask. So we're going to back off and relax and see where it takes us. So I have a question. I know you say your doctor is being super conservative. I believe it's a he, did he see something that makes him want to do another one, or?
No, he just does this regularly. Every couple of months, he does a more extensive MRI for me. It's not anything. And they always come back negative, and he just does that as a means of protocol, if you will.
Well, I'll tell you where my yes for him doing it comes from. I can't recall how long ago in time, whether it was a month, 6 weeks. There was a time where you were coming to a Living Made Easy seminar, and your husband came on and said, you have to help me, you have to talk to Holly. She's not herself. I really should get her to the hospital. But because you were having an issue with the amount of fluid, your decision-making process on that day was impaired. And then, of course, they adjusted things because you are like the bionic woman. You've got a
shunt. Yeah.
A gizmo where they can turn it up and turn it down through your scalp. Like I don't know, do they put like a magnetic thing in it?
Yeah, they just put a little magnetic thing on my head and then just adjust it.
It's like your own personal rheostat for your brain.
Right.
But it took you a while to totally return. And then I remember you came to a seminar on the following Monday and you're like, I'm back, we're back. Your husband was happy you were back, but even then you were still not the alert person you are today.
That's right. A little back in there.
I would love it if he can go in there and see what it takes to keep you this way. And it may be, oh, we've got it handled.
Right.
But it may be, oh, we need to do this tweak. I woke up with a little asthma day before yesterday and a slight cough. And I cannot tell you the amount of relief I had when I went and tested myself, because we had family coming over to do belated Christmas. I felt an inordinate amount of relief when my test came back negative. And I have a feeling this extended thing, you're smiling now, is going to give you
a sense of well-being, because you can relax now. Because, whenever you have any kind of physical thing go on with your body that could recur, then you never really relax because you're constantly thinking, oh, could it come back?
That's exactly right, Shya. That's exactly how I feel. Or how did it come about? Why did it come about a month and a half ago? What was going on? I was feeling fine. So yeah, I am happy.
Totally. So
yeah,
perfect. Because now it'll be like, hey, it was a fluke. Don't worry about it. Or look, there's this thing. Let's adjust that.
Right.
You'll have the information.
I like it. I like it a lot. Thank you, guys. It's so good to talk, because I don't talk about this with very many people. So it's really nice to be able to tell you and everybody that listens.
Yeah, that's right. Now maybe hundreds of thousands, you just don't know. We are, thanks Walt, who's been on a recent show with us, Walt Blau's Kitchen Table.
Right.
He found that we were in the top 5% of all podcasts in the world. So there's probably a lot more people listening to you than you know. And there's no reason why they can't lift the burden. We haven't talked about listening yet, but when you listen, you relieve a person of having to carry something alone.
And when you listen to just hear what somebody says, your attention goes off of you. Your attention is on them, and you leave you alone, because if you're normal, you pick on yourself in your thoughts incessantly, as though you could do it better, should have done it better, should have said it different, should have, would have, could have. It's all fodder for the mind to worry about what isn't, rather than be with what is. And when you listen to somebody, if you truly listen, all your attention is on them. Nothing is on you. And that's a vacation.
You know what I do when I don't listen? I skip off into, and I should do this, and I should do that. I mean, like, I have a ever present scrolling to to-do list of potential projects, quote, creative in nature. But I can either be here and be with you and listen, or listen to Shya, or I could skip off into that and then I'll sit on Santa's lap, and then I will, or maybe I'll get that I want. I'm sure that mental process was put together as a really
Way
young
back then.
person.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
So sweet to be with you.
Yeah, Hal. And give our love to Eric.
I will. I'm looking at the handsome man as we speak, and I will give your love to him.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Thank you. I'm taking some for me too.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
please.
Yay.
Yeah. We got plenty to go around.
Good. I feel it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's time for our listener feedback spotlight, where we hear from one of our listeners about how transformation has impacted her life or his life.
If you want to learn more about our seminars, any of the upcoming virtual courses, visit transformationmadeeasy.com.
That is transformation made easy, easy.com.
I love it.
Thank you.
I'm Daniela from Euskirchen in Germany, and it's really a treat to know Ariel and Shya came and to be a part of the community. Yeah, wherever I am, I know I have friends, and I really enjoy my extended family.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events, or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
Our next Living Made Easy seminars are this Saturday, next Monday, and the next Tuesday evening in the European time is March 1st. Want to attend a weekend with us? They are so much fun.
Try Passion, Revitalize Your Life.
That's on March 5th and 6th, and then
We have Leap into Life.
April 30th and May 1st.
There you have it.
You can find out about all of our seminars.
At transformationmadeeasy.com.
Also, are you getting our newsletter and blogs? I mean, excellent content, articles, videos. It's wonderful. So if you haven't, just go ahead and go to transformationmadeeasy.com and feel free to sign up now. How about,
Another guest.
I like it, Lenore. Cheers. Welcome to being here. Where are you zooming in from?
Cheers. I'm zooming in from Montclair, New Jersey.
Welcome.
Thank you. A funny thing, when you were saying cheers, I was thinking, yeah. Lately, I've noticed that I feel pretty well in myself. But I say that again.
She senses a but.
But
when I'm not as disturbed by the goings on, I feel disconnected from some of the people in my environment.
I didn't track.
do you
that.
mean like you're supposed to have dramatic upset over the fluctuations of the world and people's personal circumstances? And if you don't, you're an unkind person?
That,
I understand that.
yeah, I in my lobby alone, people appear to be very upset and they just think I'm weird.
Well, that's the thing. We've been trained, programmed, brainwashed, if you will, by television for years. We've been trained to think that dramatic response is the proper response to circumstances that are outside of our control or we don't appreciate or approve of.
But also social media algorithms set you up to be upset. Yeah, and television sells content by your upset. So
They sell advertising with your upset.
I know people may think you're strange, and I'm not saying you should do this, because I find myself sometimes expressing myself this way, and other times I look at a person and I don't feel the urge. But I do see that sometimes it's an opportunity to let people know there's another possibility. I'll invite them to a Living Made Easy seminar, or I'll say, I just listened to this podcast, being here, or I spoke to these amazing people, and I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about you. We talk to you. And I'm so inspired by them. You want to listen, you should listen to this, give it a try. If it's not for you, fine, but I think you may really love it. It's so many people who are coming to the seminars now are coming because their friends said, try this. It may make a real difference for you.
Yeah.
What you think is somebody thinking of you as weird, what you're registering is judgment. But how do you know the judgment you're registering isn't against themselves? So they see you and you seem fine and they're distressed. It's like, how can she do it? And I'm such a mess.
I did not see it like that. I did not see it that way. And that,
Hey, who cares what other people think? We all do. And who cares what other people think? We all want to be accepted. We want to be inclusive. We want all that.
right.
And the reality is people are judgmental about themselves. If you look at your own internal conversation, Lenore, you'll see that it complains to you about you on just about everything you choose to do.
That is correct.
That's correct. So it is with others. And if they are not well in themselves, they'll put how they feel on how you're doing your life,
Right.
rather than realize that they're upset.
I knew I was upset the other day.
How enlightened can you be if you were upset?
But I'll tell you how I recognized it.
How's that?
I think I was laying in bed. I can't recall for certain where I was, but I suddenly had a really nasty thought about you.
Me.
And I thought, whoa,
Oh.
if I'm talking to myself about Shya and what he's doing or not doing or any other thing, if I'm having a nasty thought,
Mhm.
I must be really hard on myself right now. There must be really something up with me. And so, of course, we
had a conversation.
I said to Shya, wow, I'm thinking nasty things. And then we sorted out, and I don't even recall what it was about. I don't recall what I thought. All I know is it happened. The event happened. But because
The only reason you'd recall it is if you didn't want to see it, and then it keeps showing up.
Because what you resist persists and returns and comes over and over and over.
Right.
Anything you see honestly,
Completes itself
without judging, just
in an instant. It completes itself. It's over. So that she can't remember what it was.
I
that
don't even
was
remember
doing.
where it was.
Right.
I know it was somewhere in our home, and I know it happened. And I imagine within another week or two, I won't even recall that. But it was not anything other than an indicator that, whoa, I've really gotten off center. Let's look at that. Who?
Yeah. Because I have more compassion now for myself, but for people than I have experienced in the past. I had felt that I remember a time where I had so much attention on being successful, and getting things accomplished and my name in lights. I had a lot of attention on that, but I've noticed now that I'm touched by people's hearts. I'm touched by people's situations. So that was part of why I
don't think it's just people. Because I know we haven't talked about it yet on the podcast, but we had an emergency, a family emergency. Unfortunately, our son had a catastrophic accident, which he did not survive. And so we flew to California very quickly to be there over the process of his passing away. And you stepped in and took care of Baby for us, our cat. So you came over and you house sat. It was just super sweet to have your support. But there was a moment where you texted us a picture of Baby sitting on your lap. And that's new. She's very shy, and that she would just come over and sit on your lap. You were so moved.
I was.
I think you moved.
It's okay to be moved by life. It takes, you have to be very special to allow yourself to be moved by life. It takes great courage, because people want to have it together. People want to be cool. They want to look like they know what they're doing. And this thing called living is an experiment that we're all involved in simultaneously and at the same time on our own.
I'm certain there are people who regularly listen to our podcast who have just now heard for the first time that our son passed away. And some of them have met him or know him, or for certain have heard of him for many years. And there's that burst of, oh no, and compassion and condolence and love and caring. We all matter to each other. It's exquisite. And another moment of exquisiteness is to recognize that this life is finite, and you can be concerned about something and miss what you've got, or you can allow yourself to step back into here, or leap into life. Why not? I'm promoting this. Leap into life, or passion. Experience your passion. Sometimes passion's quiet.
That's so great. That's wonderful.
We cleaned the house yesterday. It was so much fun. And it wasn't really messy, but yesterday we thought we were going to Costa Rica, and we had the cat sitters come over and meet Baby and show all the details. And I thought it was a great excuse to just, clean up some of the cosmetic things that have been sitting around that have bothered me or that just happened. And it was such a passionate, fun
Expression
of myself. Yeah, I'm like, how many steps can I get by running around today? It was very fun.
I love it. I love it. Excuse me, one thing that sparked while we were talking about passions is I have a passion for teaching students to sew. And very often when they complete a project, I'm like, do you love it? Are you proud of yourself? Is that exciting? I am so touched by their taking time to be with that fabric enough, to be with themselves enough to complete a project and to see their accomplishment. They're feeling fully themselves by in this expression of this one little fabric. It's just exciting.
Well, you know, one of the things you told me the other day, because we were talking, was not only you were talking about a young man who you taught to do zippers correctly,
Yes.
and you got excited about it, and he got excited about it, and then you directed him to go over and teach another young person who was having difficulty with how to do it. And I found that so inspiring that he not only had the win, but he got to go share the win. And in a way, that's what I was talking about in regards to your lobby. There may be people who are really determined that life is miserable right now, and I wouldn't want to interrupt that. But there may be people who are looking for another possibility.
That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, did you enjoy this podcast? We did. If so, speaking of helping other people, you can leave a review on your favorite podcast app. It helps other people find being here. So if you feel to do it, thanks in advance. Next week's episode is Honesty is Not a Lonely Word. In case you're familiar with that song, Honesty
is such a lonely word.
So we shall be back next week. So come on back.
And don't miss being here.